million. DeRozan played the last 3 years with Chicago. A major upset at Wimbledon Sunday. Coco Gauff, the last remaining African-American in the prestigious tennis tournament, lost in straight sets Sunday to American Emma Navarro. Gauff was the number 2 seed at Wimbledon. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is the fastest growing talk radio station in Southern California, home to 50,000 watts and an audience reach of 12 million listeners. KBLA Talk 1580 is a pioneer for Black audio content, including our groundbreaking $2 million climate justice campaign and the most loyal, influential audience. According to an independent research study by the polling firm Aviterus, for the second consecutive year, KBLA Talk 1580 is the most trustworthy, reliable, and credible news source for Black audiences and beyond in Southern California. Let KBLA Talk 1580 power your advertising dollars. Our omni-channel custom marketing solutions are specifically tailored to connect with your ideal target audience. We leverage audio, podcasts, streaming, digital, social media, and local activations to get your message out to the Black community. Get in touch with our advertising team today at advertising@KBLA1580.com. That's advertising at KBLA1580.com. KBLA 1580. We've got you Black.
21. Oh, life has just begun. Got a temper like a gun, pointing it at everyone. That's his game, and it helps him to get through the day. But a voice inside him says, how much longer can I play? He's got infinite possibilities. I can see.
It's time to set our intentions, set our self-care, and find our focus. This is Mindful Mondays with Saharah Ali on KBLA Talk 1580.
And we are so fortunate and blessed to start out each and every week with a meditation instructor. She is an astrologer, a life coach, a sound bath expert and sound healer, and my friend. So let's get it together for the week and this election season ahead. Time for Mindful Mondays with Saharah Ali.
Good morning, Dominique and the KBLA family. Welcome to Mindful Monday, where we get our minds right for the week by setting positive intentions that honor our mind and body through meditation, prayer, and affirmation. As we step unapologetically into our week, being on purpose with faith, truth, wisdom, and power. Our Mindful Monday affirmation this week is, today I give myself permission to embrace the power of faith unfolding in my life with grace. Today, I give myself permission to embrace the power of faith unfolding in my life with grace. Our Mindful Monday task this week is to step boldly into faith, knowing uncertainty is not our enemy. Uncertainty is very present in all aspects of our lives, with many of us feeling anxiety and fear at this time. The gift of uncertainty is vulnerability, and vulnerability yields us to prayer. It yields us to prayer. We benefit by embracing uncertainty from a place of faith. Faith can and will reveal answers to our prayers. Faith is an intrinsic part of who we are, and to feel safe in our faith, we must be true to the wisdom within. Yes, to feel safe in our faith, we must be true to the wisdom within. Faith is defined as complete trust or a firm belief in something with no proof. I define faith as intuitive physics or our innate intelligence, the gift of knowingness which navigates all things. Faith is not just a theological principle, it's a mental and emotional muscle. And like muscles, faith grows when used and weakened when unused. Choosing faith prepares us to receive miracles. It prepares us to receive blessings under grace. And opening ourselves to trust, our needs can and will be met. So let's all move forward today with our Mindful Monday meditation to unapologetically choose faith as our call to action this week. Calm your mind and body. Be here right now and take a breath. Exhale. And now inhale and hold that breath, breathing in faith and consciousness. Now exhale, releasing all fears and uncertainty here and now. Inhale the gift of divine faith. Breathe in that space within you that knows faith. Exhale, trusting your inner security to navigate your highest good, that wisdom within you. Inhale, opening yourself to a deeper state of inner peace, resting your mind, calming your spirit, allowing faith to affirm your prayers and your wholeness. Exhale, setting the intention to embrace faith, mindfully claiming your soul's natural gift of knowingness. As you exhale, sit with that, your natural gift of knowingness. Now inhale, honor this moment. Be present and ready to reshape your future with confidence. Breathe in your personal power. Now exhale, emptying yourself, releasing uncertainty and fear, uploading your innate wisdom of wholeness and truth. Sit with that, your wholeness, your truth, and your innate wisdom. Now inhale with love, knowing the gift of faith is always unfolding in your life. Know that faith has never let you down. Now exhale, releasing, trusting faith to yield miracles and blessings from seen and unseen places. Trust that. And now inhale, receiving divine inspiration, standing in your faith, ready to trust divine right action, supporting our Mindful Monday affirmation. Yes, trust divine right action unfolding in your life here and now. And our Mindful Monday affirmation, relax and take the biggest breath you've had all morning. And as you exhale, listen with self-love, compassion, and faith to our Mindful Monday affirmation for the week. Today I give myself permission to embrace the power of faith, unfolding in my life with grace and ease. Today I give myself permission to embrace the power of faith, unfolding in my life with grace and ease. Think about your faith. Think about your power. Think about the vision you have for your wholeness in the future of your life. And give yourself permission right here, right now, to embrace the power of faith unfolding in your life with grace and ease. Thank you, Dominique, Tavis Smiley, Miles, and the 1580 KBLA family. Have an unapologetic, mindfully blessed week, consciously standing in faith.
Always love starting my week with you, Saharah. Thank you so much for that guidance and inspiration. If you want to get maybe you want to do a sound bath for your group, your church, your picnic, or maybe you would like to do some life coaching, an astrological reading, or hit up a yoga class. Find out what's going on with Saharah at saharahali.com. That's SAHARAH, saharahali.com, or you can call her assistant Elise at 213-628-9783. That's 213-628-9783. We do have a lot to talk about, and now is the perfect time to call me. Many times when we get in these seasons like right now, it's a presidential election, and I can honestly say, maybe I'm caught up in the moment, but it feels like one of the most fraught and unpredictable political seasons that I've lived through. And I lived through the election of Donald Trump, which I really didn't expect to happen. These are times when it would be easy to say, well, let's not do Mindful Monday. Let's not do our meditation, our prayer. Let's focus just on politics, because we have to save the future of our country. But I feel like a little bit like the flight attendants who tell you to put your own oxygen mask on first and then try to, give the oxygen to your baby. Because if we do not have ourselves grounded in righteous intentions, if we're not able to practice self-care in these moments, if we're not taking care of our inner selves, it's all bad. I really think that to be strong enough to get through this election, and you saw what happened in France, or maybe you haven't. I mean, the media has been saying, and even the prior, primary round, I'm not quite sure how the French elections work in terms of, it seems like they have more rounds of primaries than we do. But in any case, everyone was saying this far right-wing fascist party was going to take the majority. Now, they did pretty well, but they didn't. Actually, the French public kind of veered the other way and put in leftists. Nobody has enough to have a solid majority, which means their government may be similar to ours and somewhat deadlocked for the next, I don't know how long, until they have another election. The point is that the season is unpredictable. It can be stressful. But clearly the French left did not listen to the media who said Marie Le Pen and her party, which are the ancestors of the Nazi party in France, that's their tradition, that they were going to win. It's a very anti-immigrant, I think they call it France First, a lot of similarities to what we hear out of MAGA land. And they did not win. In fact, they came in third, I believe. This may have been a mistake for Macron. The French president decided to pull this, what they call a flash vote, where they suddenly have an election, and he did not do well, so it might not have been a good move. But the point that I'm making is that the press had all but anointed this far right-wing, not just the French press, the U.S. press, party as, the French public is, they're doing a backlash for the first time since, the 1950s. They're going to elect a fascist party and all this. Or they call them far right-wing. I think fascist was my words. But it didn't happen. That's not what the public did. And so I think in the context of grounding ourselves, practicing self-care, putting our oxygen mask on first so that we can have clarity, so that we can continue to move and organize, even when the press is telling us we're doomed, that Biden can't be elected, or he's not viable, or that Trump is a foregone conclusion, that Project 2025 is the way that America is going to go. Well, if we keep ourselves focused, grounded, healthy, vibrant, and practicing discernment, it doesn't have to be that way. The French public shocked the world. We can shock them even more. And that's one of the reasons why you're not going to hear us backing off of all of the things we do to bring clarity, well-being, and vigor into our lives. Taking your phone calls now, as always, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. That's the way in, the way out, the way on. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. This is a place for it. We're amplifying Black voices, women's voices, progressive voices, 24/7. We are KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
KBLA Talk 1580 is now celebrating 3 years of amplifying our voice and uplifting our community. We deeply appreciate your support of this radio station and will always do our level best to earn your support. Here's to many more years of loving and serving our community. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
I know it's gonna happen without you.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
but it was actually our old detergent. So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle.
Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle. This back-to-school season, Tide and Downy are giving back with $1.5 million in scholarships. Enter to win. No purchase necessary. US/DC 17+. End September 30th. Rules. Tide.com/scholarship/official rules.
The Supplemental Security Income Program provides monthly payments to help meet basic needs, like putting food on the table, paying the rent, or buying new shoes for growing feet. You may qualify if your income and financial resources are low, and you are 65 or older, or an adult or child with a disability, or who is blind. Call 1-800-772-1213 or go to ssa.gov/SSI to start to apply. Produced by Social Security at U.S. taxpayer expense.
To help combat climate change, LADWP is helping neighborhoods have better access to electric vehicles by awarding nearly $130 million in EV rebates to customers just like you. From big savings on used EVs to building new charging plazas, LADWP is charging ahead to help all Angelinos experience the benefits of EVs. Get rebates of up to $4,000 for a used EV and $1,750 for a charger. Learn more at ladwp.com/EV. That's ladwp.com/EV.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1904 $20 Gold Liberty coins have been found. These gorgeous 1904p gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 500 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1904 Gold Liberty struck at the iconic Philadelphia Mint. With limited availability, you must call now. These 1904 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster. That is 120 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-973-3083. Call now and you'll receive a free bonus, a $75 value free with every order. Call 1-800-973-3083 now to secure your 1904p $20 Gold Liberty coins before they sell out. That's 1-800-973-3083.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
With Dominique DiPrima and you at 800-920-1580. We're going right to Randy from Watts. Hotep, Jumbo, Ola, what's up, Randy from Watts?
Good morning. It is so glad to hear your voice back on the air. And some of those reports that I heard you when you was over in Africa, I was getting kind of scared there. I was glad you made it back.
Thank you. We were safe the whole time. But anyway, yeah. We were safe the whole time. We were safe and well fed.
Do you see some similarities of what's happening here in Los Angeles and what's happening there in Africa? I see you came back to the United States, so I guess we're doing a lot better. Do you see problems with homelessness and education similar? Are we on the better side of the track? What's your opinion?
Okay. So let's take these one at a time. And Miles, please jump in because I know you and I talked a lot about this during the trip and after the trip. Education. They have public schools in Kenya. I'm talking about Kenya and Tanzania, but we didn't visit schools in Tanzania this time. They have public schools. They have buildings. They have teachers. They may not have books. They may not have food, water. So I guess I would say for education, it depends on what you're comparing it to. In the state of California, we serve all kids breakfast and lunch in school. And that's something that they definitely don't have in Nairobi, Kenya. At the same time, their kids seem to be more engaged with their education, more concerned about it. And I think it's partly because they have less trauma in some ways. They have more poverty, but less trauma, I think. They don't have 12 generations of enslavement in their DNA. They don't have to watch cops killing their moms, dads, brothers, sisters, cousins in their communities. They have poverty. They have gang warfare. But they don't have the kind of mental slavery that we are still coming out from under. That's my take on the education. Yeah, it depends country to country. It's different. It's similar to here in that rich people have more access. They can send their kids to private fancy schools. poor people may or may not have access to a public school if there's room. And the other thing is that they don't include high school in what's free and offered to the public. That's something you have to pay for separately. So now I'm talking about Kenya. There's 54 African countries. They're all different. Miles, your thoughts?
Also, the alternative to not going to school sometimes is a lot less humane than what we would think is option here.
Yeah.
You're either working in the field sometimes you may get married off at a young age. You know what I mean? Like, it's a whole different level of alternative that you can that we have here. Like, the bottom here is way different than the bottom there, just from
that's true.
a society and advancement standpoint. So there is no, okay, you can go on YouTube and be a TikTok influencer, or you can work on music, or you can play sports. You can just do sports. That's not really the option out there. So,
or be a plumber.
Or be a plumber.
Because it's going to be a lot harder to get the tools, to get the training,
right,
to even have a clientele. I think that's a really good point, which may have a lot to do. Part of why the kids are more engaged, because they know it's the way out of, whatever their economic circumstances. You talk about, he said, education, what was homelessness. This is something that I've been struck by in Ghana, in Senegal, and now in Tanzania and Kenya, is that you do see people, especially in the cities, that have makeshift homes. You don't see the prefab tents like we have. You do see people building a little hut if they don't have a home, or some kind of structure made out of tarps, kind of like what you would see here. But you don't see garbage all around them in squalor. You don't see poop on the streets. You don't see that. They're poor and they're rough, but they're clean. You want to add on to that, Miles, in any way?
The other thing I noticed, it's poverty. It's not a lot of mental people going crazy in the streets and arguing, yelling at people, and the pressure of that being outside. I think it's a lot more of situational poverty or systematic poverty, as opposed to mental instability.
I think that's a great point.
No drugs, not a lot of druggy use out there. There's not needles out in the street.
Well, and that goes with the squalor. Like, to me, part of the reason you see so much garbage is because people have mental health issues, and they're not, and because of the drugs, as opposed to, like, okay, I'm poor, this is my little makeshift home, but I'm going to keep it as clean, and I mean, people come out of these makeshift homes in Nairobi, and I've seen it in Accra, I've seen it in Kumasi, like, spit shine clean. Like, they could, I don't know how you do that, but they do it.
Well, you guys have done something that I've never seen in my years of being here to educate our community. I just hope our community is listening to what you're reporting and take note, because we're very fortunate to have a journalist like you and Miles out there in the world reporting this. So you guys have a great day. You did a good job. I'm glad you made it back. I'd hate to have to go into a strike force and try to breach someplace to save you.
Well, thanks for being on standby in case we needed it. It's appreciated.
Yeah, remember, take them claymores, face them towards the enemy. You guys have a good day.
Really? All right, thanks, Randy. I think, we could probably do a more in-depth discussion on that, because, again, all these things vary from country to country. I don't know the policy in Kenya, and I probably should find that out. But I know in Ghana, as in Tanzania, the government owns a lot of the land. So if you build a hut there, what I've seen is they usually just leave it there. They don't come and remove it. But again, there's not the same issue with trash, and everybody seems to have a hustle to their side hustle. Let's go to John calling us from LA. Hi, John. John, you there?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. You're on the radio.
Yes. Just wanted to remind people that tomorrow is the anniversary of the 14th Amendment, which is the most important part of the Constitution. And it's the singular political accomplishment of African Americans. So we're doing a anniversary at 10 a.m. online tomorrow.
The singular accomplishment of African Americans or Black American freedmen. Interesting. Okay, so we've had a lot of accomplishments, so including, winning the Civil War. So what do you do? What do you do by way of celebration and celebrating the anniversary of the Civil War? Maybe one of the things we can do is push for the end to involuntary servitude inside the prisons here, which will be on the ballot in November in California.
Well, I'm author of the trilogy on the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, and what's important about the 14th Amendment was that it was written by African Americans. John Mercer Langston and Henry Highland Garnett introduced it at the National Equal Rights League in 1864. It was passed because the African Americans were able to get the vote in 1866 through the Civil Rights Act. And, Grant won the 1868 election by 300,000 votes and 500,000 votes.
Okay, so you're talking about a book you've written, John, when you say you've written a book about those three amendments. All right, so are you concerned about what we're hearing now around the edges of the Republican Party, and not so much around the edges even anymore, where they're talking about ending birthright citizenship? That one of the reasons I ask that is because when I hear about that proposal, meaning that you wouldn't be a citizen anymore just by being born here, is I think about the targeting of Black people to not be citizens. Not just obviously when we were enslaved, but in the future under a no birthright citizenship kind of a nation.
Well, that's just part of the concern. Last week there was a hearing in the House Oversight Committee where Marjorie Taylor Greene and James Comer wanted to subvert the EEOC to only investigate discrimination against white men. So there's an effort over the last couple of years to use the Civil Rights Act and the 14th Amendment against African Americans.
Yeah.
And that only
and affirmative
works
action and DEI and anything that would open doors for us, I feel. Look, we've got news, traffic, and sports. Hold that thought, John. We'll continue the conversation when we come forward more informed on KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Tests are showing more than a dozen metals and a large number of tampons sold in the U.S. and Europe. Researchers found lead in all 30 tampons from 13 brands tested. Traces of other metals were also found, including arsenic, mercury, and others. In Maryland, condolences continue to pour in following the Saturday morning crash that claimed the lives of 3 star football players in Prince George's County. The crash claimed the lives of Kyrie Jackson, who was drafted by the NFL's Minnesota Vikings, along with former Wise High School classmates Isaiah Hazel and Anthony Lighton Jr. Maryland Governor, African-American Wes Moore, called Kyrie Jackson a true talent who touched many lives, and he mourns him and his 2 teammates. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Want to save up to 50% on new blinds and shades? Blindstar offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters at prices way less than big box retailers. And right now, save up to 50% off any order during Blindstar's July 4th sale. Hurry, sale ends July 8th. Blindstar.com.
Is this the title? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers held Bronny James out of Sunday's game against Golden State in the California Classic in San Francisco. LeBron's son has some swelling in his left knee after playing Saturday night against Sacramento. The Lakers rookie team coaching staff says sitting Bronny down was only a precaution. Bronny is expected to play Wednesday against the Miami Heat rookies in the final game of the California Classic. Compton native DeMar DeRozan had a chance to sign with the Lakers and Clippers as a free agent. He chose the Sacramento Kings. DeRozan signed a 3-year deal with Sacramento for $74 million. DeRozan played the last 3 years with Chicago. A major upset at Wimbledon Sunday. Coco Gauff, the last remaining African-American in the prestigious tennis tournament, lost in straight sets Sunday to American Emma Navarro. Gauff was the number 2 seed at Wimbledon. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580, where climate is king.
If you're an adult in need of an accredited high school diploma, the Los Angeles Public Library can help. You could earn one for free in as few as 5 months, online with 24/7 access. You also get a personal academic coach, plus special training focused on 9 in-demand industries, as well as a resume and cover letter to advance your career. Visit the website at lapl.org/diploma. That's lapl.org/diploma.
Hey, LA residents, it's planting season and the perfect time to get shade trees growing around your home. LA DWP and City Plants are giving every resident up to 7 free trees. That's right, 7 free trees delivered right to your door. Trees are great for the environment, help improve air quality, and can help you save on your bill when you use less air conditioning to stay cool indoors. Learn more at ladwp.com/free trees. That's ladwp.com/free trees.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent. So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle.
Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Free and Gentle. This back-to-school season, Tide and Downey are giving back with $1.5 million in scholarships. Enter to win. No purchase necessary. US/DC 17+. End September 30th. Rules. Tide.com/scholarship/official rules.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
Hey! Yes, indeed it does. And sometimes that scholarly matches you at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. The phone lines be open, and there's room for you now. We're talking with John. John's an author who called in and is going over his celebration of the 14th Amendment, but also some of the changes that we're seeing, not just, through legislation or this sort of rise of the MAGA as we have seen it now manifesting in Congress, but what is planned under Project 2025, which Trump is trying to distance himself from it, but clearly that's his game plan. That is his blueprint. And part of what he's been talking about for years, which is the end of birthright citizenship. People think that only applies to folks coming from other countries, but why would it have to? Who usually gets targeted by dumb stripping of rights in this country? Usually it's black people. So if a conservative anti-justice administration decides that you're not a citizen simply because you're born here, that means you as a black person, even if you've been you're a freedman who can trace your family back before the Civil War, as I can, you would still doesn't necessarily mean you'd be guaranteed citizenship. So who would decide? These are the kinds of things we really have to look at. If a guy tells you that everyone from every black country is an ish-hole country, who do you think he's trying to get rid of? He wants more Norwegians and less people that look like you. Anyway, John, I wanted to let you land because we bumped into news, traffic, and sports there.
Not a problem. So the title of my book on the 14th Amendment is Citizenship for All. And so before that amendment, nobody was guaranteed citizenship. And so that's one of the reasons why it's so important. And with citizenship comes a number of rights. And so what we are facing with the Supreme Court basically ignoring the 14th Amendment and saying that Trump could run even though he is an insurrectionist, and now saying that he has immunity. I mean, it's very similar to how Jefferson Davis was on trial for treason, and Andrew Johnson let him go without a trial. And so we're still dealing with the consequences of that 150 years from.
But I mean, even if you talk about Jefferson Davis or Richard Nixon or whoever, they always knew, and the Supreme Court is, full of crap, because they always knew that there was a possibility that they could be jailed. They always knew they were not immune from criminal prosecution. Nixon would never have resigned if he thought that he had immunity. And so we've definitely ratcheted up another level in terms of the flagrant, shredding of our Constitution.
Yeah, which is why we need to know what's in it. And even lawyers, I was talking to Eva Jefferson, one of the most distinguished civil rights lawyers, and she said, we never studied the 14th Amendment in law school. So, most lawyers don't really know what's in the 14th Amendment. So, so we've got legislators, mayors, because people have been sort of caught flat-footed by people co-opting what we thought were, things that were settled law, and they haven't known how to respond. And so we're giving them a legislative so that they understand that black folks fought for this. There were 209,145 U.S. troops of African descent who actually decided the Civil War.
Well, I appreciate your insights. I think a lot of us have gotten caught flat-footed, as you say, because we just didn't expect the brazenness, the shamelessness, the total lack of regard for precedent, for propriety, for decency, for morals and ethics. We just didn't expect that. I think we expected at least the pretense of giving a care, shall I say, about the Constitution, precedent, legality, how something appears, perception. But our extreme court and these lawmakers have apparently gone beyond that. I mean, y'all want to complain about the BET Awards being ratchet. How about our ratchet Supreme Court? How about our ratchet Congress? I mean, you're mad at Sexy Red, but she's not deciding the future of who can be a citizen or who can't, or whether or not the police can shoot you on sight with total impunity. She's just doing whatever she's doing. So I think that's the real flat-footedness. The flat-footedness is disbelief at the level of criminality and shamelessness that is now present within the Congress and the Supreme Court. Appreciate the call, John. Let's go to Paul calling us from L.A. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Dominique. How are you doing today?
I'm blessed. How are you?
I'm blessed too. I just want to kind of follow up on what you've been discussing today, and we've been discussing it. This is why I always said the polls lie. You know what I'm saying? We've looked at, and I've been saying it. I'm just going in what's going on now. Let's just call it, and we've discussed it, but I'm going to kind of go a little bit more into it. One of the biggest things that occurred during the exit polls during the 2020 election from the 2016 election is there was a huge like push from white male men, plus 7% from the 2016 election. Biden is pulling from those white male votes. So what you're looking at now is essentially them concerned because he's going to win the election again, and their concern is he going to make it through another term? Because if he does not make it through another term, we know who's going to be the next in line to be the president. That's what all of this is about. And what you essentially have at this point is the voters have spoken. That's what the primaries are for. If the voters were so concerned or don't know about Biden's age and concerns, we wouldn't have voted for him during the primaries. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I hear you, but a lot of people will say we didn't know how bad it was because that's why some donors are saying they're angry, et cetera, is because the debate was pretty bad.
Was it bad for just him, or was it bad on both ends?
It was bad on both ends, but one is a better, BS artist, and one appears to have cognitive decline. The other one appears to be a liar like always. He delivered what his base expects, right?
Y'all turning me into this because, I have issues with both sides of the spectrum. And this is a prime example with Democrats right now and the elitists, because this is the elitists. These are the billionaires right now that are hustling right now.
Yep.
These aren't the voters. That's what I'm saying.
That's true.
Anybody that's and remember, the base of the Democratic Party are black people, but the heart of the party are black women, right? So everything that we've seen, Biden has always had a stuttering issue. This has always been Biden. Biden is. If you're looking for the greatest communicator in the world, that was President Obama. We're not going. That's a once in a lifetime thing that happened. I'm looking for, and because we understand policies, and we understand the significance of judge nominations, and if you go off of policies and what's actually occurred and how it directly impacts our community, Biden, arguably, to be honest with you, Dominique, has been the most progressive president in our lifetime. But those are the facts.
You must be talking about domestic policy, not foreign policy.
Well, I would argue with foreign policy.
No way.
Okay, here's my pushback to that. We understand when it comes to the situation in Gaza and Israel, you know that there's a U.S. base in Israel, right?
I'm not just talking about Israel, but okay, I'm also talking about Cuba. I'm talking about Haiti. I'm talking about his policy towards immigrants. His foreign policy, I think, is not more progressive than Obama's. Not that Obama's some shining progressive. But anyway.
But to me, they're based because that was his vice president then.
Yep.
They were together. So that's like a package.
Okay, Paul.
No, so I'm sorry, but just to get back to what I'm saying, for those that don't know, there is a base in Israel that basically keeps an eye on what's going on with Iran. So are there people within this is and I don't want to come off as a person that's dim this, I go dim this. I'm more kind of towards it independent, as most black people are slowly becoming more and more independent. But I also understand the task at hand, what's most beneficial to my community at this point. And why I brought that fact up earlier is what's going on now. The voters already know these things about Joe Biden, but we're still backing Joe Biden. What you have here are billionaires and elitists, which are in the Democratic Party too.
Yeah, no doubt.
That are saying because they don't want the black woman to be the next president. And why that matters is because don't let them fool you with, we'll just run Kamala, because that's not what's going to happen. The moment they remove Joe from that ticket, they're going to open it up because they really want to probably do Shapiro and Whitmer. Don't fall, and we're not going to fall for that.
Well, okay, what about what we know, Paul, which is that in order to remove those campaign funds from Kamala Harris, they have to go through a bunch of steps, which we do not have time to do before November. I feel like for the money and for their perceived impact on the black vote, they're not going to take Kamala Harris off the ticket. What they might do is try to keep her at vice president and put someone else in at president. And Newsom is the biggest threat, but they won't do that because that would be two people from Cali.
Right. I agree with you. I don't, and this is just me keeping it a buck. I don't trust any of them.
I agree with you on that.
So when they're what the base has spoken, the voters have spoken. We already know Joe Biden. I already know he had a stuttering issue. I know Joe Biden is the greatest debater or person that's going to just push this. That's going to energize the base. But I would argue that this situation that's occurring now is actually energizing the base right now. There are a lot of people that are like, no, Biden-Harris is a ticket. And there was also, remember when there was a VP choice and everybody wondered who was Joe going to pick, majority of the people wanted VP Harris.
Yeah.
So these are facts.
I also agree with you, Paul, that I do think the smear campaign against Vice President Harris has come from the left and the right. It's come from the Russian bots and the manosphere. It's come from the militant black nationalists and the militant Marjorie Taylor Greens. She's been getting buffeted from all sides. She is way more qualified than any of those folks to be president and do a great job. And I do think you're right. Her backing is not what it should be, considering her portfolio, her achievements, the fact that she is an attorney and a great debater. She's polished. She's young. Now imagine, I can't remember who it was. Was it Mitch McConnell? No, it wasn't Mitch McConnell. It was somebody yesterday saying if it's Kamala Harris versus Trump, it's going to be a different race. And even though the Democratic Party hasn't stood behind her the way they should, she's still going to be much harder for Trump because they've been relying on the Biden is old argument for so long. Now what? Now you're the old guy.
Yeah, but that wouldn't at the end of the day that wouldn't matter because I see we're putting logic to what in reality is the elephant in the room. Racism will not end until white people say it's going to end. And when they go in that booth, they say one thing outside that booth, but when they go in the booth, they always vote a certain way.
So you don't think Kamala can win?
No. What I'm saying is the party wouldn't back her. I think it's a trick. It's a trick.
Interesting. Well, so if you were the emperor, what would you do?
Okay,
not that we want an emperor, but let's say just for this decision.
You're going to stick with the ticket as it is. We'll win again this upcoming election. It just draw it again because you pay attention to what's going on right now. They'll win again. And everything will be fine because now you have another term of implementing the policies that they've been pushing. But one more thing I want to bring to people's attention that don't know. A lot of this with the media, especially mainstream media, is diverting your attention away from those Epstein files that actually have been unsealed and number 45's name come up distinctively in it. Don't trust me? Take the time out to research yourself.
Thank you, Paul. You always have great points to bring up. He called 800-920-1580. I invite you to do the same. We are KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Oh, man. Looks like Bobby needs a ride to the airport again.
Grab the keys.
Who's taking Auntie and her friends to the swap meet?
Grab the keys.
How about we drop these boxes off at Miss Johnson?
Grab the keys.
Whether you're giving rides or hauling gear, you're all about getting things done. So do it all in a Chevy SUV. From the versatile Equinox and sporty Blazer to the roomy Traverse, our lineup of SUVs will carry you through every adventure. All you have to do is...
grab the keys.
That's how we do. Head to your local Chevy dealer, where well-qualified buyers get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Malibu, Colorado, Blazer, Equinox, Trailblazer, and Traverse limited models. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
1.9% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 15.8%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 7/1/24.
Watch out! You got me!
The galaxy is safe once again.
In the pretend universe, kids play with pretend guns. In the real world, it's up to us to make sure they don't get their hands on a real gun. If you have a gun in the house, keep it locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like choosing Derek Jeter as the pinch hitter for your baseball team.
Jeter, you're in. We need a home run.
I'll give it a try. I've swung a bat once or twice.
That's out of here. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA member FDIC.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth.
Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome. We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
Okay, dokey. Yeah, you can call, like Paul, 800-920-1580. I'm looking to see who has been on hold the longest, and that would be Cindy from Inglewood. Good morning, Cindy.
Absolutely. Thank you. Good morning, Dominique. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Make it real quick. I totally agree with Paul. It's a trick. It is a trick, and I just don't buy into it. It's the first time ever, Dominique, that I want to go to the DNC for the Biden-Harris ticket because they can't remove Biden because of the campaign funds. All the money has to be raised, all the things that has to be done, and it's just a trick, and I'm not buying it. And I'm energized, and I pray that this base be energized. I'm sorry, I'm walking. And the voters, like he said, we are the voters. So we must energize our own self and stay out there, their agenda, and stay focused. Sorry, guys, I'm walking.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're walking. Got to get those steps in. But, Cindy, what are they tricking us into?
Tricking us into believing that this ticket, that if we remove Biden off the ticket, who's going to, honestly, we're not going to get the votes for Kamala because of the simple fact, the standard is when they go, the general election, we may have gotten there in local and stuff, but, at the same time, those men that don't look like us, they're not going to vote for Kamala. Come on. Even the ones that do look like us, they're not. So we may as well be honest and say, stop it. Stop letting them drive the focus. And this man that we, had previously, come on, you guys. The immunity, what the Supreme Court just did, unheard of. And like you said earlier with, what's the one that was that left on his own, the president?
Nixon.
He knew that there was no immunity, and he decided to resign.
Right. Resign so he won't go to jail.
Exactly. So that when the Supreme Court did that, that solidified. That should have just said to everybody, look, you guys, come on, let's be honest with everything and do what you're supposed to do when you get in that voting poll. And I like what AOC said. I think she said she wants to impeach as the Supreme Court justices. following the Trump immunity ruling. I don't know if that's true, but I saw that little image there. So if it's not, then I don't know how that would go. But anyway, we need to stay mobilized because of what we're seeing and hearing. And that 14th Amendment, thank you for that. Who brought that up? Everybody should be reading that 14th Amendment. And I thought under that Section 3 that a lot of the congressmen and women couldn't serve if they gave aid and everything to the enemy. So we didn't see that engaged, and we let them take that narrative. So stick to the focus. I mean, just focus. That's all I want to say. Just stay focused.
All right. Well, thank you for the message, and good for you for walking, listening, and talking all at once. Jan Williams is in the chat complaining that the Dems didn't run a primary. But when you have a sitting president, you don't do a primary. That's not tradition, because incumbency is a huge advantage. If you're already in the job, you have a much greater a chance of keeping the job. That's how that works. So it's not that Dems didn't, that it's mysterious that they didn't run a primary. We don't run primaries when you hold the office. Now they're talking about, choosing someone different. And that's what's unusual, not the other way around. Yeah, you can run for president, but if you have a sitting president, there's already a nominee. Let's go to Phil calling us from Burbank. Phil, I need the short version if you would.
How you doing?
Good.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
I just got to say, this is my first time on the show, and I feel honored.
Oh, I hope it won't be your last.
Oh, I agree with the previous callers. Something ain't right. As Keith Sweat say, something just ain't right here. Especially with CNN, because they were supporting Biden. After this, they completely turned on him.
Yeah, they flipped.
And I just look at it, big time. That's all their whole coverage is. He should step down. My thing is this, and I agree. I knew it all along. He's not going to serve another 4. Kamala's going to take over. And the Republicans realize that now. That's why they want the Democrats to switch now. Now, my opinion, I think either one of them should beat this guy. But that's my common sense.
You think Kamala or Joe can beat
yes.
Can beat
hands
the
down.
Donald. Mm.
Hands down. With my common sense. But in America, common sense ain't so common. I mean, we got a guy running for president with felonies where Ray and Pookie can't get a job at a 7-Eleven. Yeah. So I just look at this, and it's setting up for Trump to be a dictator. And I think people better wake up, because if that's what you want America to be, we will turn into South Africa. And what I mean by that, I'll make it short. Mississippi, Louisiana, all those states, we're half the population. Look at the power structure. And that's what the Republicans want for America. Yeah, Hispanics will continue to have babies. We will continue to outpopulate the white race. But that power structure that they want to put in place will be just like South Africa. People better wake up.
Well, thank you for that call to action, Phil. It's much appreciated. We've got news, traffic, and sports, and then we're going to talk about your head, how to be not bald, whether you're a man, a woman, or somewhere in between, how to keep those follicles coming out your head, keep it sexy. That's next with Tramel Borner on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Tests are showing more than a dozen metals in a large number of tampons sold in the U.S. and Europe. Researchers found lead in all 30 tampons from 13 brands tested. Traces of other metals were also found, including arsenic, mercury, and others. In Maryland, condolences continue to pour in following the Saturday morning crash that claimed the lives of 3 star football players in Prince George's